She was 19 years old, serving 3 years for armed robbery. And she just told me someone inside this prison was going to die, that I'm Jessica Torres. And the choice I made that night still divides everyone I tell this story to. Some people say I'm a hero. Others say I destroyed an innocent family. 3 years later, I still don't know which side is right. That it was a Tuesday night, 11 p.m. I was doing my rounds in C Block, the female wing of Riverside Correctional Facility. Most inmates were asleep. The fluorescent lights buzzed overhead, casting that sickly yellow glow that makes everything look like a bad dream. My footsteps echoed on the polished concrete floor. That I'd been a correctional officer for almost 3 years at that point. I knew the rhythms of the prison. I knew which inmates were early sleepers and which ones stayed up whispering through the vents. I knew the sounds of routine and the sounds of trouble. That night, something felt off. Cell 23. Sofia Reyes, 19 years old, skinny as a rail, serving 3 years for her part in a convenience store robbery. Her boyfriend had the gun. She was the lookout. First offense, but California's laws don't care much about first offenses when weapons are involved. Sofia had been at Riverside for 4 months. Model inmate. Quiet. Kept her head down. Took her GED classes seriously. The kind of kid who probably shouldn't have been in prison at all. But the system doesn't always make sense. I passed her cell. I heard it. A whisper, urgent and desperate. Officer Torres. I stopped, looked through the small window in her door. Sofia was standing right there, pressed against the bars of her cell window, eyes wide with fear. Please, she whispered. I need to talk to you. Alone. Every instinct told me to keep walking. Inmates asking for private conversations at 11 p.m.? That's usually manipulation. A setup. A way to get something they want. But something in Sofia's voice stopped me. Step back from the door. I said quietly. She did. I unlocked it, stepped inside, closed it behind me, but didn't lock it. Protocol. Never lock yourself in with an inmate. You have 2 minutes. I said, what's this about? Sofia's hands were shaking. She looked at the camera in the corner of her cell, then back at me. They're going to make me kill someone. A guard. They said if I do it, my little sister outside stays safe. If I don't. Her voice cracked. They'll hurt her. She's 12 years old. My blood went cold. Who's they? I asked. I can't tell you names. If I tell you names, my sister dies tonight. But it's real, Officer Torres. It's happening. They gave me 2 weeks to do it. Or... She couldn't finish. I had about 1,000 questions. But the first one that came out was, which guard? Sofia shook her head, tears streaming down her face now. I can't tell you that either. If I tell you, they'll know I talked. Please, I needed someone to know. I can't do this. I can't kill someone. But I can't let them hurt my baby sister. Here's what you need to understand. In that moment, I had 3 choices. Choice 1, report it immediately. Call my supervisor, lock down the block, investigate every inmate with gang connections. Standard protocol. But that would mean Sofia becomes a known informant. Her sister becomes a confirmed target, and I still wouldn't know which guard was in danger. Choice 2, keep Sofia in protective custody, say nothing, hope it all blows over. Save her, ignore the threat. Hope whoever wanted this guard dead would just give up. But men like that don't give up. Choice 3, trust Sofia. Work with her. Figure out who the target was and stop it quietly. All 3 options were terrible. All 3 could get someone killed. Sofia, I said slowly, I need you to tell me everything. From the beginning. How did this start? She told me. 3 weeks ago, a new inmate arrived. Valentina Cruz. 40s, hardcore gang connections, serving 15 years for conspiracy to distribute. Valentina had power, even in prison. She ran things in C Block within a week of arriving. Valentina knew about Sophia's sister, knew her name, knew where she went to school, knew their mother worked nights at a hospital. Valentina approached Sophia in the yard, showed her a photo of her sister walking home from school. The message was clear. She said a guard here betrayed her people on the outside. Sophia whispered, got her nephew killed in a drug raid. She wants revenge, and I'm supposed to be the one to do it. How? I asked. Poison. They're smuggling something in through the kitchen. I'm supposed to put it in his coffee during my work detail next week. My mind was racing. Which guard, Sophia? I can't help you if I don't know who. She looked at me with those terrified 19-year-old eyes. Officer Morrison, the big guy, works the morning shift. Morrison. My stomach dropped. Officer David Morrison had trained me when I first started. He was a 15-year veteran, built like a linebacker, with a rough sense of humor but generally respected. He supervised kitchen detail. He drank coffee constantly, black, 3 sugars from the staff room. But here's the thing I knew that Sophia didn't. Morrison was dirty, that I didn't have proof. Just instincts built over 3 years of watching people. Morrison had too much cash, too many new things. His car, his watch, his clothes. On a correctional officer's salary, something didn't add up that I'd suspected for months that Morrison was bringing things into the prison. Drugs, probably. Phones, maybe. Trading contraband for money. It's more common than people think that if Valentina Cruz wanted Morrison dead, maybe it was because Morrison had betrayed them. Maybe he'd been working with her gang on the outside, got spooked, got someone arrested. Maybe Valentina's nephew really did die because of Morrison, which meant Morrison wasn't innocent. He was a corrupt guard who'd gotten into bed with gangs, and now they wanted him dead. But did that mean he deserved to die? Sophia, I said quietly, I need to think about this. Don't do anything. Don't take anything from anyone. I'm going to figure this out. Officer Torres, please don't report this. Please. My sister, I won't. I said, not yet, but you need to trust me. I left her cell and stood in that fluorescent-lit hallway, hand on my radio, not pressing the button. What would you do right here? Report immediately or keep listening? Because I chose to keep listening, and that decision changed everything. Over the next 3 days, I did something I absolutely should not have done. I investigated on my own, that I checked Sophia's visitor logs. Her mother, Maria Reyes, visited every week. Maria had a record, former gang affiliate, got out years ago, supposedly clean now. But once you're in, you're never really out. I checked Morrison's schedule. Kitchen duty, every morning, 6 a.m. to noon. Drank coffee at 7 a.m. like clockwork. I checked Valentina Cruz's background. Her nephew, Carlos Cruz, died 6 months ago in a police raid on a drug house. The informant who tipped off the police was never named publicly, but the raid happened in the same neighborhood where Morrison grew up, where he still had family. The pieces fit together too perfectly. Morrison had informed on Valentina's people. Her nephew died. Now she wanted revenge, but I still didn't have proof, just suspicions. And suspicions don't save lives. On day 4, something changed. Sophia's cellmate, a woman named Keys, put in for an emergency transfer. Said she didn't feel safe in that cell anymore. Didn't give a reason. I pulled Keys aside during rec time. Why the transfer request? Keys looked around nervously. I ain't trying to get involved in nothing, Officer Torres. But that girl, Sophia, she's been crying every night, talking in her sleep about her sister. And Valentina been watching her, real close. Something's about to pop off. What do you mean, pop off? Keys shook her head. I don't know. But when Valentina watches someone like that, someone's about to get hurt. That night, I made my decision. I went to Morrison, found him in the staff break room, drinking his coffee, watching some game on the small TV. I sat down across from him. Morrison, I said, we need to talk. Privately. He looked at me with those tired eyes. What's up, Torres? Someone's planning to kill you. Poison in your coffee. Next week. His face didn't change, didn't even look surprised. Just took another sip of his coffee and said, who told you? Doesn't matter. What matters is why. Valentina Cruz. Carlos Cruz. The raid 6 months ago. You were the informant, weren't you? Morrison's jaw tightened. Long pause. Then, you don't know what you're talking about. I know enough. You've been bringing drugs in, working with gangs. Something went wrong. You flipped. Now, they want you dead. Morrison stood up. He was twice my size. For a moment, I thought he might actually hurt me. Instead, he said quietly, if you report this, I'll make sure everyone knows about that time you let an inmate make an unauthorized phone call to her kid. Remember that? 3 months ago, you broke protocol, Torres. I saw it. I didn't report it because I liked you. But if you come at me, I'll bury you. He was right. I had let an inmate call her son on my personal phone. The kid was sick, hospitalized. She was crying. I broke the rules. So that's it. I said, you're going to let yourself get killed because you're too proud to admit you messed up. Morrison leaned in close. You report this, we both go down. So here's what's going to happen. You're going to forget this conversation. I'll handle Valentina myself, and we'll both keep our jobs. Understood. I left that room shaking with anger that I had 2 days before Sophia was supposed to poison Morrison. 2 days to decide, protect a dirty cop or let justice take its own course. That night, I couldn't sleep. I kept thinking about Sophia's sister, 12 years old. What kind of person was I if I let a little girl get hurt because I wanted to take down a corrupt guard? But what kind of person was I if I let Morrison die, even if he was dirty? The next morning, I did something I knew would change everything. I filed an official report. Everything. Sophia's confession, Morrison's threats, Valentina's plot, all of it. Within 2 hours, the prison went into lockdown. Internal Affairs showed up. Valentina Cruz was put in solitary. Sophia was moved to protective custody. Morrison was suspended pending investigation. And then the real nightmare started. That afternoon, I got a call from the local police. Sophia's 12-year-old sister, Carmen, was missing, taken from school. Witnesses saw 2 men in a black SUV. Sophia lost her mind. They had to sedate her. She was screaming, trying to hurt herself, screaming that I'd killed her sister, that I should have stayed quiet, that this was all my fault. She was right. I'd made the call. I'd reported it. And now a 12-year-old girl was gone, that I couldn't eat, couldn't think. I just sat in the security office watching the phones, waiting for news. 48 hours later, they found Carmen. She was alive, locked in a basement in East LA. 2 gang members arrested. Valentina's connections on the outside had grabbed the girl as insurance, but the police moved fast. Carmen was traumatized but physically unharmed. Valentina Cruz got another 15 years added to her sentence for conspiracy to commit murder and kidnapping. Morrison was arrested. Federal charges. Turns out he'd been smuggling drugs into Riverside for 3 years. He's serving 15 years now in a federal prison. Sophia's sentence was reduced for cooperation. She got out 6 months later. But her family? Destroyed. Sophia's mother, Maria, lost her job. She'd been taking time off to deal with Carmen's trauma, missed too many shifts. They ended up homeless for 2 months before getting into a shelter. Carmen developed PTSD. Nightmares every night. Couldn't go back to school. Needed therapy they couldn't afford. And Sophia? She wrote me a letter after she got out. I still have IT. IT said, "You destroyed my family, Officer Torres." Morrison was going to die anyway. You couldn't stop that. But my mom had a job. My sister was safe. Now she wakes up screaming. My mom can't work. We lost everything. You followed the rules. You did your job. But was it worth it? Was destroying my family worth saving a dirty cop who's in prison anyway? I read that letter 50 times, and I still don't have an answer. Morrison is in prison. He was corrupt. He deserved to be caught. Valentina is in solitary. Carmen is alive. Those are the facts, but Sophia's family is broken. Carmen has nightmares. Maria lost everything. Those are also facts. The system worked exactly the way it's supposed to. I reported a crime. Criminals were punished. Innocent people were saved. But innocent people also suffered. Maybe more than if I just stayed quiet. I think about that night a lot. Standing in that hallway, hand on my radio. What if I'd made a different choice? What if I'd helped Sophia and Morrison handle it quietly? What if I'd trusted them instead of the system? Maybe Morrison would be dead. Maybe Sophia would be a murderer. Maybe Valentina would still be running C Block. Or maybe Carmen would still sleep through the night. Maybe Maria would still have her job. Maybe Sophia's family wouldn't hate me. I don't know. I'll never know. What I do know is this. Following the rules doesn't always mean doing the right thing. And doing the right thing doesn't always have a happy ending. Morrison was dirty, but he was also someone's son, someone's friend. He trained me. He didn't deserve to die. Sophia was a criminal, but she was also a scared kid trying to protect her sister. She didn't deserve to have her family destroyed. The system worked, but the cost was higher than anyone wants to admit. I'm asking you, really asking you, what would you have done? Would you have reported it immediately and accepted the consequences? Would you have stayed quiet and let Morrison handle it? Would you have found some third option I couldn't see? Because 3 years later, I still lose sleep over this. I followed protocol. I saved lives. But I can't shake Sophia's letter. I can't shake the image of Carmen's face when they found her. I can't shake the feeling that maybe, just maybe, there was a better way. Tell me what you think, because I genuinely don't know if I did the right thing. And I need to know if you would have done it differently.